It's manga time once again with Bleach 523 Words of Origin. Holy hell! Okay, so it doesn't start off particularly unremarkably. It starts off where we were last time. Nimaya Ouetsu. Well, actually, we get a colour page first, which is Ichigo and Renji. Still kind of Christmas themed. They've been making some snowmen, which are themed off of people. You got an Unohana one, an Uryu one, and you know, it starts off with Nimaya Ouetsu, and he gives us a nice little bit of information on the Asauchi, which is the Zanpakuto that they're going to fight. They've got all these kind of mannequin-like creatures that are crying, and Nimaya's like, these Asauchi are pretty annoyed with you because you just use your Zanpakuto like they're tools. And he's like, what you consider the Zanpakuto your friend, your buddy? And he's like, well, actually, who's on top, the Zanpakuto or the Shinigami? So essentially, it sounds like, at least from Ouetsu's point of view, that you have to kind of worship your Zanpakuto in a way, or at least consider it to be on the top. And here we get this kind of king and his horse reference again. Not that I'm expecting to see Hollow Ichigo, because I'm not, but it's just a nice little reference to that again. And so Ichigo and Renji have to fight these Asauchi. But that's not the most interesting part of the chapter. Holy Christ. It then goes over to Soul Society, the central underground prison Muken. And I was like, Jesus Christ, we're going to see Aizen. Holy hell. He's like my favourite character in the whole series. And this is the 100th chapter. He's been in prison as well. We don't see Aizen, but I wasn't disappointed. Kenpachi walks in. They're in one part of this prison. And he's like, well, this is a pretentious stage, but good job getting it. And there's someone standing opposite him. And from 520, we should know who it is. It's Unohana. Oh my god, psycho Unohana. She's got her braid down, she's got her hair down, and her eyes, she just looks insane. Absolutely insane. And Kenpachi, he knows who she is, which was a talking point people had. They were like, will Kenpachi actually know who Unohana really is? And he does. And he's like, and we get this kind of interesting talk from Kenpachi. He understands that they are looked upon as criminals by the Soul Society. If you win, you become a captain. If you lose, you die a criminal. And that's an interesting perspective on the Kenpachi sort of outlook, because if you look at that book, Spirits Are Always With You, which isn't canon, but as a Shiro, Kenpachi didn't look particularly criminal, if you ask me. But then I suppose, you know, Aizen doesn't necessarily look criminal, so... Oh man, seriously. She's like, I have to fight you here, otherwise if you're still alive, this wound I have won't stop throbbing. And because her hair is down, you can see that she has this big-ass scar there. And then Kenpachi's like, is that so? Well, this one won't stop hurting either. And you realise that this scar down his face was caused by Unohana. And you get the big revelation at the end of this chapter. Shunsui is sitting in his office, and he's like, Unohana Yachiru, you used to be one of the worst criminals, the worst criminal in Soul Society, who knew everything there was to know about swordsmanship. And we see that in that picture that we saw in 511, where we saw the old divisions, that woman was Unohana with her hair down, like a lot of people speculated. So maybe we'll know the other characters as well. But the big revelation is Shunsui says that, I know this is a very sly way of doing things, however I knew that by pitting you against each other, as soon as you clash swords, one of you would have to die. And that's the end of the chapter. We get this awesome picture of Kenpachi, well, both Kenpachi sort of clashing like this. Uruhara looks freaking psycho, her eyes are like blank, and she just has this cruel grin on. She looks freaking awesome, personally. I like this Unohana as opposed to Unohana Retsu. The question is she going to die? Because I don't think it's Kenpachi that's going to die. Zaraki that's going to die. You're going to have to call him like that now. I don't think it's Zaraki that's going to die. So I do think Unohana might die. Which would be kind of lame, because technically she hasn't really done anything yet. This is like her first proper battle, and it's against a good guy. Good guy. But yeah, awesome, awesome chapter. 9 out of 10. The only problem I have is I wish we'd seen maybe a little bit more of Ouetsu. Again, he just did a lot of talking, so I think they're going to be there for quite a while. The Asauchi were kind of cool. They're kind of what you'd expect from nameless, bodiless Zanpakuto, basically. They're just like mannequins. It's kind of cool they can cry. But yeah, Ouetsu's not really doing a lot at the moment, but the Unohana Kenpachi scene absolutely made this chapter so awesome. Once again, this final arc proves why it's absolutely kicking ass. This is stuff that we've been wanting to see for freaking ages. Holy balls. Seriously, Unohana, freaking psychopath. She looks awesome. Wow. Seriously, awesome chapter. 9 out of 10. Don't forget to sub, guys. Follow me on Twitter at MrTom2384. And I will catch you next week. Thankfully, the breaks are over. We're now back on track again. But until then, see you next time.